Okay.
Lance Hall here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. Happy to welcome Nasson to the program today. How are we doing?
Hey, Lance, doing good here. How are
Zooming,
you?
I'm doing well. You're zooming in from Chile today.
Yes, exactly. From
How is
Santiago de Chile.
how is it down there? It's summertime, right?
Yeah, pretty hot, man. Pretty hot.
The exact
It's
opposite up here.
yeah. I mean, we have like 29, 28 degrees Celsius.
Right.
So it's pretty hot.
That is warm. Have been below 0 Fahrenheit for the last number of days up
Man,
here. So it's supposed to warm up. We're supposed to get a big snowstorm tomorrow, so just in time.
I'd love to have some cold in here, but we 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 have to wait until like July or something like that.
Right. Wow. That's so different, so amazing.
Yeah.
Um, and speaking of amazing, you have an album that came out last Friday named Scars that I have heard a copy of. This is a fantastic album, Nasson. You must be happy to
Thanks, man.
finally be able to get it out.
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry.
You must be happy to have finally gotten it out.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, this album, it's been a project that has been on the drawer for so long. My last album, I mean, before this, my last album was released in 2009.
Yeah.
So, it's 13 years. So, yeah, I'm so happy to have this one out now. And, it's a different stage of my life, So it's much more mature. It's I mean, I'm a grown man now.
Right here, yeah, exactly. Life changes us. I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're going through, or what you've been through, and the way life takes, the different paths that life can take you on. This is your first major label album, though, correct? The other two were released sort of independently.
Yeah, exactly. The first one on 2007 and the second one in 2009. But
Right.
yeah, both of them independent. And this is the first one with a big label, as a solo artist, because, I have these other projects where Chaos Magic and Sinner's Blood. But this is the first one with the label as a solo artist.
Right. And Frontiers is a fantastic label to work with. I've talked with a lot of artists, and everyone loves this label.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, as a songwriter and producer, I get to do a lot of projects, and work with different artists, with different singers, write for a lot of them. So it's a great opportunity, to work with these guys. It's been fun.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at the cover art. Obviously, you're, on the picture, fairly prominent with the picture, but there's also a picture of a bridge there. Looks like you're sitting
Yeah.
on it. What's the symbolism of that?
Well, the album is kind of dark, lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the name, Scars. So this guy that appears here in the cover, it's turning its back on the light of the sun,
Mm.
and he's staring at the abyss. So it's I mean, it's a symbol for this this introspective part of the lyrics that are represented on the album. There's a lot of like melancholy and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the deal with that.
Right. And I think I read that you picked Scars, it's sort of the nicks and scrapes and everything that you pick up along the way in life. It was sort of what you're
Exactly.
referencing here. Yeah.
Exactly. Because I mean, the lyrics on the album have some autobiographical concepts to them,
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense for them to be, called scars.
Yeah. Let's talk about a few of the tracks on the album. I made a few notes on some of them. I made notes on all of them, but I'll ask you about a few. Um,
Uh-huh.
we won't quite do a track by track here, but let's start with number one, Not Today. I liked the music to this. It was heavy but melodic, and the lyrics to me sounded very empowering. Very like,
Yeah,
it wasn't good, life may get you down, but not today, was sort of the message that I got out of that.
exactly. That's the thing on that song. I mean, it's the song has a lot of concepts about being on the verge of quitting, you know, on the verge of fading away, but you know, you take your last breath and you say, okay, not today, you know.
Yeah.
Musically, it's a cool song. I mean, it's very heavy, but
Hmm.
it has some of these AOR elements. You know, it's very hard rock, super melodic. So
Yes.
I love that one. You know,
Yeah.
that's why it was the first single.
Excellent track. Track two, Room 108. I love the chorus on this song. And where is Room 108? What are you reference to with that?
Oh, that's a private story, I must say.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
uh, but it's a fun one. I would say it's in Europe.
Okay.
Um, that song is super fun. I mean, it's the grooviest of them all on the album.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
I was trying to get some of this like a shuffle feeling for this, but
Sure.
in a metal context. So
Okay.
I think it's a really fun song on the album. One
Yeah.
of the lighter ones, you know.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, Track three, Mother Moon. I loved. I'm assuming that's keys on the intro. As I was listening to it, I was listening to it through headphones, and I could imagine. I had my eyes closed, and I could almost see like the second hand on a clock going by as those keys were going off on that intro piece. I really love that.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mother Moon is one of my favorites. I mean, it's very dramatic, you know. I
Hmm.
think it has some kind of a cinematic vibe.
Yeah.
Um, in this song, I have a guest, you know, on keyboards,
Sure.
Maestro Misteria from Italy, and he gives, you know, this like very orchestrated sound to it, and the lyrics have some very cool images to it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a, as I said before, I think it's a very cinematic song.
Yeah. Well, speaking of cinematic, the cinematic where I saw the most pictures in my head, because as much fun as MTV is and YouTube and everything to watch videos, I still like to make videos in my head as I'm listening to
That's
songs,
the
you know?
best, man. That's the best.
And track five, On the Other Side, what a majestic song, was the first
Oh,
word that came
thanks.
to me to describe that. And to me, that was a very cinematic, a very powerful, and it sounds like sort of
Yeah,
a very personal song.
absolutely. I mean, it has a lot to do with a very close relationship, you know,
Mhm.
and that it had to go through a lot of things to, you know, to begin. So yeah, this is especially here in this song we have Katarina Nix
Mhm.
singing a few lines on the bridge. Uh, yeah, I think this one has that cinematic character to it too.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful song, and the vocal performance is super passionate. So yeah,
Yeah.
I love that one.
Cool. Bringer of Sorrow. The note I made here was the guitar is so intense, and I'm going to try
Yeah,
and pronounce his name. Is it Ignacio Torres? Am I even
Ignacio
close?
Torres. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um,
Ignacio Torres.
the guitars were so intense, but as it's leading into the solo, there's this intense guitar, but then these keys are like so subtle behind it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it was an amazing contrast to hear. Um, love that part, and then when the solo came in, he blew it away on the solo. That was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Ignacio is a very good friend of mine. We known each other for I think uh, 12 years. We played a lot of time together, you know. So I wanted to have him in on this record. And he actually plays the solos for the the three singles I've released. You know,
Hmm.
Not Today, Bringer of Sorrow, and We Are the Army.
Yeah.
Um, well, all the riffs are played by me, all the bass, all that stuff. The
Mhm.
bass is played by me, you know, but Nacho's solo on that one is amazing.
Yeah.
And this is for sure one of the heaviest on the album.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
Always with a very melodic chorus, you know. That's my stamp.
Yeah, that's where, all these tracks, like with Not Today, it was heavy but melodic. Same here, heavy but melodic.
Yeah,
And this next track, King of Lies, I love the drum sound you captured for the intro on this. Those are huge, huge. And then to describe the solo, I use the word scalding. Uh,
cool.
it's just hot, you know.
Cool, man.
Uh, and then track 8, A New Beginning. I am a sucker for spoken word in a song. And I
Cool.
loved the short spoken word segments in this song. It was probably my favorite track on the album.
Well, it's one of my favorites too, man. This is I love the melody on the chorus on this one. It's so nostalgic. It has like a dark beauty to it. Um, Although the bass riff is very very heavy,
Mm,
and those narrations or spoken words in there are by Katarina Nix too.
well, very cool. Very cool. It was awesome.
Cool.
Loved it. Now we're going to get down to the last one I have a question for is We Are the Army. Of course, you mentioned that one. The video's out for it.
Yeah.
Run down who you've got singing on that with you so I don't mispronounce any of their names.
Okay, so there's a few of them. We had Katarina Nix, who is the singer for Chaos Magic, one of my other bands,
Right.
and we have James Robledo from Serious Blood, my other band. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, Plus that we have Misuho Lim from Brazil from a band called Semblant,
Mm-hmm.
and Guy Oliver, who is also a Brazilian singer from a band called Landfall. All of these guys are, of course, Latin singers on the label. So when I started writing the album, I had the idea of having this song with many singers,
Mm-hmm.
and after a time, I came to the idea of having only Latin singers.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I had Katerina and James. I love their voices, so it was an easy choice. And these guys, Misuho and we, were so into the song. They loved it. And of course, it's so cool when you write a song for different singers. You send them the reference, and they send you back their files, and you
Yeah.
listen to what they did with them, and it's so cool. It was so fun, and they all love the song, so it turned out great.
As you were recording it, obviously you're all separate, but were any of you hearing anybody else's vocals or were you just concentrating on your own?
Um, well, of course, in the beginning, I recorded the references for everyone,
Right.
and I started recording Katerina and James, who are in Chile, of course.
Right.
So I asked Katerina to record some references for Misuho,
Mm-hmm.
and the reference for We Oliver, I recorded them myself.
Yeah.
So in the end, well, Kathy only listened to my version of it.
Right.
James heard my version with Kathy, and so on.
Yeah. My
Growing step
question
by
I was
step.
my question I wanted to lead up to is maybe did you like hear each other? Did you find yourselves pushing each other vocally, on this
Well, that's
song?
the thing. That's the thing. I mean, in a good way, there's some sort of healthy competition in there.
Right. I was
When
gonna
you
say,
when you
yeah.
listen, yeah, when you listen to a guy like James, for example, you hear his drive, his power when he sings.
Mm,
You say, man, I gotta be up to this. I can't sound weak on this one.
yeah. Yeah.
So it turned out to be a super energetic performance from everyone.
Yeah. And the way the mix came down with the production and everything, the way the vocals all blended together was awesome. Awesome.
Cool, man.
Very, very
Cool. That
much.
that's a specific thing that we had to work very very hard on, because they're very different voices. So and I wanted to I wanted them all to bright on the song, to
Sure.
shine on the song.
Right. Right. Track listing. Did you spend a lot of time on the sequencing of this to get everything together? the tracks for the album?
I mean, not a lot of time, but it was sort of difficult. I didn't have a clear vision of what I wanted to what the right I wanted, for
Yeah,
the entire album.
right. How you wanted it to
Um,
flow.
yeah, but I think I always try to. There's one thing I do on all of my records, that is, having some of the softest songs on the album, um, together with one of the heaviest songs on the album. I
Right.
think that this is the case for On the Other Side, and Bringer of Sorrow, I think, is the next one, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah. I noticed that you kind of sandwiched that one in between Runaway, which was a real ripper, and Bring
Yeah,
Up Sarah, which was heavy as well. And then on the other side, you had that, the nice long 6 minute,
yeah,
cinematic tune. Yeah. Gives you a little bit of breathing space, as a listener.
exactly.
Yeah.
And placing the ballad in this case on the middle of the record is kind of a reset,
Yeah.
It's like you turn the vinyl,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I read that most of these songs on this album are not very old. Within the last couple of years, you wrote them, and you've done writing for a bunch of other projects and stuff. Do you
Yeah.
find the more you write, is it sort of like, let me compare it to sort of like either singing or like guitar playing. The more you sing, the better you sing, the more you develop. Same with the guitar, the more you play, the better you get. With writing, is it the more you write, the more ideas come? Do you ever worry about, hitting a dry spell or anything like that? Or is it just like a muscle that you've got to keep using?
Well, dry spell is an everyday thing for me.
Really?
But it's weird. I mean, I've been writing so much these last years. I think I'm writing like 50 songs a year, something like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Um, but I've become a pro on this. So at this point, I don't really need inspiration to start writing a song. But anyway, I would say that the best songs, or my favorites, are the ones that come from inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been writing so much, man, for
Yeah.
like for Sinner's Blood, for this album, for Chaos Magic, for other projects on the
Yeah.
label. So yeah, I'm always working on that.
That's my question, because I'm fascinated by the songwriting process. You say some of your best ones are done by inspiration. I'm assuming you hear a phrase or see something in a book or a movie or something. But say there's
Exactly.
one where you say you always don't need the inspiration. Where does that come from? Where does the
I
idea for
mean,
the song to come from?
I mean, one thing I do is I listen to a lot of music, a lot of music, not only metal.
Hmm.
Actually, most of my ideas come from different things other than metal.
Hmm.
Because I think, I mean, I grew up with this style. So the riff parts, all the shredding, and stuff like that. It's something that is so natural to me. But when I'm writing an album, or a song, I want them to have something different. I don't want. I'm not a traditional writer.
Okay.
I like to have some modern components on the song. Um, Take stuff. I mean, synth stuff from pop. I mean,
Sure.
take some stuff from prog metal.
Hmm.
So I like to mess it up.
Very cool. Let's go back in time a little bit. You actually started out playing the drums when you decided to get into music around the time you were about 12 years old and you discovered Metallica.
Yeah, yeah, around that time. I mean, it was a big MTV moment at that time.
Yeah.
So all the bands from that time. I mean, Offspring. I remember. I loved Offspring. You
Hmm.
know.
Great band.
Um, but of course, when you start to get into heavier stuff, of course, appeared Metallica, and then you go into the rabbit hole. Iron
Yeah.
Maiden. at that time, I remember the European power metal scene was huge. So I started listening to Stratovarius, Nightwish, stuff like that,
Right.
more melodic and more symphonic stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, those were some big bands at that time.
Very cool. I understand your dad also played guitar, not professionally, but he played. Was he much of a musical
Yeah,
influence on you at all?
yeah. I mean, there was always a lot of music here in my house. From from folky stuff from South America to Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, some singer songwriter stuff like Simon and Garfunkel, stuff like that.
Sure.
So yeah, my dad used to play guitar, and of course there was always a guitar here in it.
Excellent.
So one day I just started playing, and but I was really into the drums.
Mm.
So when I was 12, I got my first drum set for Christmas, and I started writing my song right away.
Hmm. Very cool. Very cool. I understand that you love the studio, you love the creative process, particularly with, with getting artists and bands together and creating a sound for them and songs and everything that. But as much as you love that, you really like to be out there live. There's nothing like interacting with an audience.
Yeah, well, I mean that's my favorite part of all.
Yeah.
Um, the feedback, uh, with the people. This is something I really miss these days because the last shows I played were with Chaos Magic on Europe
Mm,
in February 2020.
wow.
So it's been a long time now.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, I was very lucky because um, after we finished the tour, I spent a week in Europe working on some different projects, including something with Alessandro Alvecchio at that time.
Mm,
And I came back to Chile on March 6th, I think. And 2 days later, the borders were all closed, man. So I
mm.
just got really, really lucky to
Yeah,
get back on
definitely.
time.
What is the current situation like down there with the virus and everything?
Look, it's the cases are a lot these days. The
Mm,
numbers are growing very rapidly, but um, the vaccination in here has been great,
yeah.
really, really good. So there's a lot of cases, there's a lot of big numbers in there, but
Right.
at least people are not dying, man. So
Right.
it's
Right.
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Right. So obviously then no touring plans have been able to be made with for this
Exactly.
album at all. Yeah.
I mean, for now,
Right.
I
For now.
really, really want to go out and play these songs. Um, I want to play at least a few shows this year with this album, as a solo, as Nasson,
Right. Right.
But
Let
of
it be
course,
your
I
name
have
on the
to
marquee.
exactly, exactly. But of course, I have to manage the agenda of Chaos Magic and Sinners Blood too, because with those bands, of course, we have plans to tour, So
Right.
it's gonna be a busy year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The album is called Scars. The artist is Nasson. It's out now on Frontiers Music. It is a fantastic melodic rock album, I would say, or a rocking
Yeah.
melodic album. Either way you want to slice it, it's a fantastic bit of music. Nasson, I always like to end with just some silly questions. I'm hoping these are questions you've
Great,
never been asked. Does that sound good?
great for silliness.
Right. Um, Last music other than your own that you listen to.
Last,
Yep.
I've been listening to a lot of this German band, Skimo Callboy. I don't
Okay.
know if you know them.
No.
Um, there's a song called "Pump It." It's
Okay.
very, it's very suitable for gym.
Right. Okay. Sounds
Really
good.
cool.
What's something outside of music that you're good at? Are you like a good auto mechanic or a good woodworker or something like that?
Not really. I mean,
No.
I'm good with artistic stuff. I used
Okay.
to direct video clips. I love movies. I love film.
Hmm.
Um, I write a lot. I read a lot. Stuff like that. I mean, I also before I entered the music world, I wanted to be a painter.
Okay.
So all of the artistic stuff, it's my jam, you know.
Very cool. Of all the touring you've done, what's been your favorite city that you've been to?
Oof, that's a difficult one. I think it might be Budapest.
Okay. Very cool.
Budapest is amazing. Prague, maybe too, you know,
Hmm.
but beautiful.
Let's see here. Given your choice of household chores, would you rather do dishes or the laundry?
Dishes,
Dishes.
definitely. Yeah,
If you could pick
I
a
kind of meditate when I wash dishes, you
okay. I agree. I agree. It's very soothing.
Yeah.
If you could pick a television show to have one of the songs from Scars placed in, what TV show would you pick?
Whoa. Um, now I'm watching The Sinner, so it'd be great to have like something like Mother Moon maybe in there. That'd be
Okay,
cool.
very cool. Is there something you've always wanted to learn but have just never had the time?
I've always wanted to learn to play some wind instruments,
Okay,
maybe sax, maybe trumpet, maybe I don't know, something like that. That'd be cool.
very cool. First car you bought with your own money?
None. I don't drive.
You don't drive.
Yeah.
All right. If you could go back in time and eat one of your favorite meal that your mom prepared for you in your youth, what would you have her prepare?
um, I would say that there's a there's a dish in here called cazuela. Um, it's a soup. I mean, it
Okay.
has potatoes, it has meat, it has some different vegetables.
Hmm.
Um, that's a very typical Chilean plate. That'd be a good choice
Okay.
for sure.
Tell us something that decorated the walls of your teenage bedroom.
Oh, posters, band posters,
And post.
Metallica, Pantera, Maiden, stuff like that for sure.
Okay.
Maybe some nude girl in there
Yeah, yeah. Samantha
for
Fox or
sure.
somebody like that, you know.
Yeah.
When you go on tour, do you usually travel heavy or light? Are you just like a duffel bag kind of guy, or are you like a bunch of suitcases?
Oh, the lightest I can. The
Mhm.
lightest I can.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Last one. This is the one we have the most fun with. If they were to make a movie of your life, what actor would you pick to portray you? And it's your movie, your life. You can pick anybody.
Oh, I mean, I've heard a lot that I look just a tiny bigger version of Johnny Depp.
Okay.
So I think that'd be accurate.
I could see that. I definitely could see that. Excellent. Well, once again, we have been chatting with Nasson here for Let's Discuss with Lance Hall. His album Scars out now on Frontiers Music, available everywhere. And again, it is a fantastic bit of music, lots of guest vocals and guest players and stuff. And it's just a great, great album. And I truly hope you get to go out and play some of this stuff live.
Thanks, man. I hope so too. I mean, I'd love to go there, of course. The States, Europe, Latin America.
Yeah.
I just want to play live.
Excellent.
That's the thing I miss the most.
All right. Before we go, was there anything that I didn't ask, anything you didn't get to talk about in this interview that you had hoped you could? Floor is yours.
Um, I don't know, man. I'd like to thank the guys that were involved on the album. All the guests
Mm.
that we already mentioned. Eric Martinez, a great sound engineer. He mixed and mastered the album.
Okay.
And there's a good friend too called Daniel Pino who directed the videos. So if you want to look up for their work, be my guest.
Excellent.
They're great at their stuff.
Yes, they are. Nasson, thank you very much for your time today. I'll let you go enjoy the heat. I'm going to try and stay warm.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.